All right, all in all, not a bad week in the market for this portfolio. Today is February 14th, 2025. Take a quick look, a visual, a pie chart of my income portfolio. You can see the total value is about $44,000, about $25,500 of cash. And there you can see I'm using about $18,500 of margin. And my income portfolio is down about a negative 4.70%. And these are the funds that I have in my portfolio. The two biggest ones are the round hill funds, the QDTE and the XDTE. And you can see the dollar amount and the percentage that they hold in my income portfolio. And then the five other funds that I have are from YieldMax. I have YMax, which is my biggest YieldMax fund. It's a weekly payer, almost at 20% of my portfolio. And then you can see I have MSTY, CONY, NVIDIA, and Tesla, the dollar amount or the percentages. I did add about 100 shares of MSTY on Dividend to pump up that position. But all in all, really good week. And if you look down here towards the bottom, if you haven't been here before, I'm taking 30% of my distributions. I'm taxing myself that amount. And I'm just throwing it into Boo. And if I need to pay my taxes next year for my overall tax situation, I'm just going to sell that and pay the taxes from that. And just quickly, this was my portfolio last week. The screenshot on the left, you can see the value versus the value now. But again, I picked up 100 shares of MSTY. It was at about 9.5%. Now I'm at 14.2%. And again, it made all these other percentages a little bit smaller. But if you've been following me for the past couple months, you know that I am concerned about being down to 6.24% to only being down only negative 0.470%. So my goal is to be capital flat, and at least we're trending that way. And for anybody that's new here, I started this income portfolio, and remember, it's income, not a growth portfolio, in May of 2024. So just last year, so not even quite a year. And then you can see the dividend income I made in 2024, and so far what I've made in 2025. February, of course, not being done yet. I'm guesstimating about $1,450 to $1,500. It's kind of skewed right now just because I've been buying a little bit here and there and upping my MSTY position and all that good stuff. But I'd say ballpark around $1,450 to $1,500. And how am I getting to that $1,500 or so for February? Well, let's start with the two round hill funds, the QDTE and the XDTE. Where I get in, they're weekly payers. They pay every Friday. There are 4 Fridays in February. I just put in 90 cents for the month, so not quite a quarter a week or 25 cents a week. Then if we take a look at MSTY, at the time of the dividend, I had 145 shares and it paid about $2.02. So now, again, I told you I bought 100 more, so now I have 245. CONY, they paid $1.04 for this distribution a couple weeks ago. And then you have YMax. I plugged in 70 cents. So if you do that by 4 weeks, which is a weekly payer, I'm thinking about hopefully 17 cents a week to get this distribution here. NVIDIA, I have that 100 shares. Hopefully it pays out, I believe it's next week, 89 cents. That's what I'm guesstimating. And then good old Tesla, my smallest position in the YieldMax universe, I have 51 shares. And maybe it pays 69 cents. Who knows what it's going to pay. But at the beginning of the month, when I plugged this all in, I was about $1,400 to $1,500. So anyway, this is more looking like what March is going to be like, but at least you get the idea of how I'm going to get there. Okay, Friday, February 14th, every Friday is a payday. You know that if you've been following me or if you're in these funds. These first 3 funds, YMax, XDTE, and QDTE, those are my weekly payers. And again, I have those 4 other funds that pay monthly, and this week it was MSTY's turn. But if you're new here, this is what happens. I have 504 shares of YMax. On Wednesday, they had a declaration of about 15 cents, and today is payday. So that 504 shares times that 15 cents is about $75. Same with the XDTE and QDTE. You can see the number of shares versus the distribution amount versus what they pay. And again, MSTY paid $2.02 per share. At the time, I had 145 shares. You add this all up, and it's just a shade under $500. Now, with these distributions, I put the YMax and the QDTE distributions together, and I just lumped them all into QDTE. XDTE, I just reinvested back into itself. And the same thing I did with MSTY. Okay, let's get to the portfolio review. This is what I call my reality screenshot. This is the real deal. I focus mainly on these two numbers. You can see I'm down negative 4.70%, or in money, I'm down about $2,200. But it's a big jump up from last week when I was down over 6%, and this was about $2,700 and some change. But if you want a detailed look, I'll let you just pause the video and zoom in, zoom out for yourself to see what everything is. All right, with these two screenshots here, this is the total gain or loss, what happened today, Valentine's Day 2025. Everything was green except for CONY. CONY was down pretty big, down 60-something cents after being up 70 cents the day before. And it was nice to see MSTY pump just a little bit. I think they hit 70 or 71 cents today with the 100 shares that I bought at ex-dividend. It really lifted up everything. And then with these screenshots, this is a total gain or loss for each position since I've opened them. And you can see I'm down in all of them except for the first time this year, I am positive in NVIDIA. When it went down really low, I picked up an extra 50 shares, which dropped my average cost. So now I'm in the green. And again, they're going to declare next week, and ex-dividend, and Friday will be the payday next week. But hopefully, wouldn't it be nice if NVIDIA could pump 50 cents on Tuesday and then 50 more cents on Wednesday? Anyway, that's the goal with that. But if you look at CONY, that's my biggest loser right now, down almost 18%. And if you've been following me, you know I'm looking heavily into XDTE and QDTE. I really want these to be capital flat because these are my core funds. But right now, at least the X is under negative 3%. So we got to keep pushing, lowering my average cost when the next dividends come out. Same with the Q. YMAX has recovered nicely since it went down hard earlier in the year. I'm only down negative 3.67%. Okay, now a little detailed look into each position. Let's start with CONY. You can see I have 212 shares, an average cost of $14.90. And then I'm down about $560. It had a horrible day today, even though it beat earnings. I guess that was what the run-up was yesterday when it was up over 70 cents. But again, it gave back 64 cents today and finished at $12.25. All right, good old MSTY, the $2 pair. You can see I now have 245 shares with an average cost of $27.28. And the screenshot on the left is before I bought on ex-dividend day. You can see that 145 shares there at an average cost of $29.13. But on ex-dividend day, again, I picked up about that 100 shares, but look at my average cost. Dropped all the way down to $27.28. I went from 14.75% down to now just negative 6.8 down. And then you can see the dollar amount down from 623. Now I'm only down $450. But anyway, new average cost $27.28, up 71 cents a day, finishing at $25.43. And then next is NVIDIA, my only true healthy position. Total gain and loss, I am in the green. Unbelievable. All right, I got an average cost of $21.18 at that 100 shares. Finished today up 34 cents at $21.29. Next, let's look at Tesla, my smallest position, just 51 shares, is down 11%. Got an average cost of $13.51. It's been doing good the past 2 or 3 days since it's been down, but finished at $12.01. Next is YMAX. This is my third biggest position. You can see almost $8,500, 504 shares, an average cost of $17.40. Had a pretty decent day. I'm up $60, or it was up 12 cents and finished the day at $16.76. And then to my round tail funds, the QDTE, 355 shares. This is my biggest position, $14,384. There's my average cost of $41.93. Had a decent day, up $60, or you can see up 17 cents and finished the day at $40.49. And then my last position, the XDTE from Round Hill, up only 8 cents, finished at $50.34. But you see, almost 180 shares, an average cost of $51.84. But again, only down negative 2.89%. First time you hear, all of last year, I was in the green collecting dividends on both the QDTE and the XDTE. So I'm excited to get these back to capital flat or some appreciation in these round hill funds. Okay, let's go back to these screenshots. With these screenshots, you can see the total dollar amount I have in each fund. If you were to add up all those funds, you get $44,041. And up here, this net debit, this $18,492, that's how much margin I am using with Fidelity. So if I were to liquidate all my positions, Fidelity is going to get their $18,492 back, and I'd be left with $25,549. Here you can see the portfolio was up about $209 today, or about 0.82%. Again, I'm really happy about how the portfolio has been recovering this week. Folks, thanks for watching. As always, I will see you in the next video.